Greetings, everyone. My name is Tony Forman. Hello, everybody. This is the one and only Tony Forman on the Tony Forman Show at TFS. We want to welcome you one more time. My viewers are special viewers, and if you're looking at the show right now, you're special. So today we have Miss Johna here, that's our special guest. I've been wanting to talk to Miss Johna about Medicare and Medicaid and some of the misconceptions, talking about what's going on, and we'll let her tell you. Miss Johna, welcome to the show. I'm glad that you're here, and I want to start by just if you could share a little bit about your business and your background, backstory, whichever way you want to do it is your preference.
Sure. Well, thank you for having me, Tony. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate the opportunity to speak with your viewers today. My name is Johna Snell. I'm an independent agent. I work actually as a senior planning agent. I do all things retirement. So I do a bit in Medicare, retirement planning. I work with Social Security planning, 401k rollovers, annuities, so a little bit of everything. So I start with Social Security, guide you through protecting from Medicare as you go into Medicare, all the way through retirement, protecting your money, all the way through long-term care planning. So I carry you all the way through the process. I have a background in sales. So I started in sales probably about 30 years ago. I'm aging myself a bit. I'm a little older than I probably look.
And you look like you 18, so really 30 years ago.
And I decided I worked in nonprofit for the American Heart Association. And then I worked for a global company. I've always done mission-based work. And then I was in for-profit, and I decided to do something for myself that was in a way still giving back to the community. And I landed in insurance and in the senior aspect of the business in Medicare, and I absolutely love it. I love the helping people. And Tony knows from seeing me in action that I get so much pleasure in being able to help people with the knowledge that I've gained over the years, and being able to take something that's so complex and frustrating to so many people and just break it down into a way to make it so easy for others. That's something that's so frustrating. So I absolutely love what I do. So that's what I do on a day-to-day, and just try and simplify this process to make it as easy for my clients as possible.
Now, for the listening audience, the viewing audience, I want everybody to know that this is my person that takes care of me. And I'm telling you, she knows her stuff. I was in a situation where, you know how you get those calls and they're talking about what they could do for you and this and this and that. Then a lot of the people that I ran into, and at 70 years old, the looking one though, I found that a lot of times I was making the wrong choices because the person wasn't really looking out for me. They were looking out for their pocket. And I had a plan that a lot of the medication was being denied. And I was in a Walmart one day, and I just decided to talk to Miss Johna, and she gave me her time, and I was kind of surprised because most of the people that do this work are not going to sit and talk to you for 15 minutes, and she did. And I appreciate it. And today I have a very good plan that I would never change it unless she tells me that she's got something better that for me personally, which is the way she works. She personalizes it. Her mission is to make sure that if she's taking care of you, you're going to get the very best. So, Miss Johna, now could you share a little bit of the Medicare and how the misconception of people thinking that they have to be as if you're working, and you was explaining it to me off camera. Could you speak a little bit to that for us?
Yeah, so there's a lot of misconceptions about Medicare. Like I said, one is that it's complicated, it's difficult, and it doesn't have to be. And a lot of that is because, to your point, a lot of people try to do it themselves. And you really should seek an agent to help you with it.
A good agent.
Yeah, a good agent. That's right. A good ethical agent. Because, some people are in it for the wrong reasons. They are there to just switch a plan and make a couple of dollars and just move on to the next person. But the purpose of insurance is to save you money, so that when you need to use your insurance, you spend the least amount of money possible. So a good agent is going to sit with you. They're going to talk about your medications. They're going to talk about the doctors that you see. They're going to talk about your health history, so that they know that a plan is going to work best for you when you need to use it. It's going to offer you the lowest copays if you do have to go in the hospital. It's not going to be a plan that gives you the highest gift card when you go to CVS. It's not going to be a card that gives you the most amount of money back in your Social Security, because what that's going to do is going to give you a high copay if you have to go in the hospital. There's trade-offs. If they give you money in one place, that's because they're going to charge you higher in another area. So make sure that you're not working with an agent that's going to look for ways to just give you money back. They're going to look for ways to save you money. Okay. The other thing is about when you're working. A lot of people think that when you're still working that you can't go on Medicare. You don't have to wait until you retire to go on Medicare. When you turn 65, you can go on Medicare. You can take Part A and B, or you can take Part A, which is free, and then you can delay your Part B if your company insurance is better than Medicare. Work with an agent who will compare your company insurance to your Medicare side by side to see which is better. In a lot of cases, Medicare is cheaper than your company insurance. They'll look at how much they're taking out of your weekly check. They're going to look at how much your deductible is. Sometimes the deductible for group insurance might be $5,000. There's no deductible with Medicare Advantage. And there's typically a zero to low premium for Medicare Advantage. So you want to look at the side-by-side comparisons to see, a lot of times Medicare is much cheaper. So in a lot of cases, Medicare is a better opportunity.
So, Ms. Johna, we have to go to break. We have to pay the bill. So we'll be right back.
Hey everyone, we want to thank you for watching the Tony Forman Show, the new Tony Forman Show. You can catch us on your favorite audio podcast or video podcast platform every Wednesday at 10 in the morning Eastern Time. That's when we drop. So once again, thank you for watching the new Tony Forman Show on your Cannis Media Network. Hey everyone, I hope you're enjoying the Tony Forman Show. I also want to remind you that our anchor show, Coffee and Conduce, with Jenny and I, drops every Wednesday. Right, Jen?
It's one of the things. We got some new exciting shows coming to you this year with Cannis Media, and we want to definitely promote this. We got Tony Forman and another host, and exciting new looks at especially the Latinx Hispanic community. They're very relevant to that, just like coffee originally was. And tune in, check them out, and see what you think. Give us some feedback.
All right, so continue to enjoy the Tony Forman Show, but also jump over and watch Jenny's show on Two Queers in a Truck, and also our show, Coffee and Panduse. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.
Hello, everybody. We're back from the break now with one of the experts when it comes to your health benefits, and, just knowing what to do and what plan to pick, someone that cares about you. And I know that from experience because she's my health professional. Now, Miss Johna, I wanted to ask you a question. I remember I had Humana, and when I went to you, you changed me from one plan to another, which is United Healthcare, and it was the best for me. I must share that with you. And then the person that I was with Humana, reached out to me and tried to sell me on the new plan, and you just spoke to that. And that person was telling me that listen to this, y'all. I was going to get more money from Humana when it came to the expenditure card. When I went to Ms. Johna, she said, no, that's going to cause you a problem because then you're going to have a higher copay. And I listened to her. And now, because with Humana, there was some medications that they wouldn't pay for. And she made sure that all my medication was paid for, and that I didn't have to incur any additional expenditure when it wasn't necessary. So, Ms. Johna, could you please speak about what's new in 2025, the difference in the plan, and talk about how do they tabulate? Or how do you tabulate what plan is better for people that are younger, that are older, that work? You know what I'm saying? In other words, how do they tabulate that?
Yeah. So for one, every year the plans change. So Medicare Advantage is a 1-year contract. So you can count on every year the plans are going to change. So it's important to have your plan reviewed every year. By September the 30th of every year, everyone should receive an annual notice of change. It comes from your carrier in the mail to you, from your insurance carrier. Most people don't recognize it. They throw it in the trash. They just don't pay attention to it, and they should have received it. And it notifies you of how your plan is changing for the next year. And it will tell you what's changing, how your copays are changing, what your typically what your medications are going to cost. But again, they don't pay attention to that. So it will notify you of that and how your plan costs are going to change. Now, what changed for 2025 as a whole for Medicare is that through the Biden administration, there was the Inflation Reduction Act. And through the Biden administration, there was a reduction in the prescription drug costs. There was a cap. I'm sure you remember the donut hole that everyone would land in, to where their drug costs previously was $8,000. There was an $8,000 cap on drugs. So seniors were not able to afford their prescription drugs. It was ridiculous. Most people couldn't afford their insulin, there was a cap put on insulin last year to where it was $35 for insulin, because before you couldn't afford that. So last year it was a $35 cap on insulin, but there was a $8,000 cap on the rest of prescriptions. 2025, there was a $2,000 cap put on all drugs. So that was good for this year. So once you reach $2,000 in spending for any prescription drugs, then you don't have to pay for drugs anymore. So there's 3 stages that you go through. There's your deductible stage, then there's your initial drug costs, and then you reach catastrophic. So you'll have a drug deductible, and then once you meet your drug deductible, you'll have your initial coverage phase. And then once you reach that $2,000 cap, once you've spent $2,000, if you have any drugs that cost that much, once you reach $2,000, you're done for the rest of the year. You don't have to pay a penny more for your prescriptions. So for those folks that are, on drug plans where they do have to have like tier 3, 4, or 5 drugs that are really expensive, they don't have to worry about paying high costs for drugs anymore. So that was a really positive move for us. We don't know, again, about what's going to happen this year because, a lot of people have heard that Trump is talking about reversing some of the things that have been put in place, and that's one of them. But we don't know what's going to happen with that. Typically, when Medicare puts something in place, it's done for the remainder of the year. So Medicare typically doesn't go back, and they can't change plans. So I think the plans are protected for the rest of the year. So I think we're fine through the end of 2025. We just don't know what's going to happen for 2026. So that was a major change for the plans. Okay,
so I believe I fit in the category because I'm on Ozempic. And when I first started Ozempic, Humana didn't want to pay for it. Mm-hmm. It was expensive. Mm-hmm. It's still expensive, but because of the plan that you put me on there, lady, mm-hmm. I don't have to pay a cent for it. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't cost me anything. And that's what's wonderful about having a personal advisor when it comes to your senior plan. Mm-hmm. Because if it wouldn't have been for you, I would have been stuck. A lot of the stuff going to the hospital and stuff like that, your copay, mm-hmm. it for a person that's on a fixed income, it could be not devastating, but troublesome.
Yeah. And the other thing, speaking of fixed income, is along with the $2,000 cap, the other change that they made is a lot of the plans too. Now with the insurance companies, there was a little shakeup because they put the cap on the spending. Insurance companies was like, oh no, now how are we going to make our money? Because you reduce the cost of drugs, that's going to impact, the money that we were counting on making. So what they did was they couldn't make money on the prescription drug costs. So what they did was they increased the deductibles. So a lot of plans that didn't have a deductible last year now have drug deductibles. So now you have to meet a deductible before before they'll cover your drugs. So some mm-hmm. plans that their drug cost was $0 last year, and now I have clients saying I didn't have to pay anything for my drugs last year, but now I'm having to pay. It's like, well, it's because of this drug deductible. So that was where a lot of plans are seeing drug deductibles this year. That's the reason why, is because the insurance companies were trying to make up some of the loss because of the cap that they put on the plans to try to make up for the loss there. So because of that, what the Biden administration did was they provided a payment plan. This is something that's new this year as well. So when you had the drug deductible, you had to meet that up front. So much like what Duke Energy does, when you have a high electric bill at certain times of the year, they've decided to have a payment plan so you can spread that cost over the course of the year. So as opposed to having to pay it all in January, February, they spread that cost off over the course of the year. So that makes it easier to manage.
Oh, that's that's good to know because,
Mhm.
of course, especially when it comes to seniors, and I'm talking about just for lack of a better word, super seniors. People that, yeah, it's people that are in their 80s, their 90s, and people are living longer today. So they still need, on a fixed income,
Mhm.
they need a good Medicare plan,
Yep.
and a lot of times a combination of Medicare and Medicaid.
Mhm.
Because there's a part that Medicaid pays for. I'm not sure if it's Part B or something like that. But the thing is, the purpose of a show like mine is to bring information to the people,
Mhm.
to educate the people, and I'm going to make sure that I bring on people like you that are doing the right thing by us. Making sure that if you don't know, I want to make sure that your information is put in the comments
Mhm.
so that people could reach out to you. Um, More people need to know that you are there
Mhm.
to help whenever people are confused.
Sure. Absolutely.
You know, now
Hey everyone, we want to thank you for watching the new Tony Forman Show on your favorite audio or video podcast platform. Every Wednesday at 10 in the morning Eastern Time, it will drop. So once again, thank everyone for watching the new Tony Forman Show, brought to you on your Cannis Media Network.
thank you and welcome back. Again, we're here with Miss Johna, my representative when it comes to my Medicare, Medicaid plan. An exceptional person, if I must say so myself. There's no other like her. And I want you to reach out to her if you have any questions. She is the person that you could trust. Now, Miss Jonah, could we go back and talk a little bit more about the misconceptions and like a person working, reaching the age of 65, and applying for a Medicare plan that uh, is better than the job plan, if I may.
Mhm.
Could you share with us those misconceptions?
Sure. So the most important thing to remember is when you turn 65, two key things is when you turn 65, it's important that you sign up for Medicare, uh, apply for Part A, and delay Part B. All right. As long as you are still working, sign up for Part A, delay Part B. Delaying Part B is very important because as long as you have company insurance, that means that you have coverage. You're just delaying your Part B because you already have credible coverage. All right. Now, delaying Part B because you have credible coverage, that lets Medicare know that you're still working and you have good coverage. Now, I sit down with people that are turning 65, and one of the things that I ask them is, are you going to continue to work? If they say yes, I do what's called a Medicare checklist with them. And I show them how Medicare works. I show them, what Medicare covers, and I go over the plans with them. If they are on company insurance at that point, I go over their company plan and I show them how their plan compares to Medicare. Right? I do a Medicare checklist with everyone, regardless of whether they're still working, whether they're retired. A lot of people are on Medicare and still don't know really how Medicare works. And I think it's really important. A lot of people don't know even like how Medicare works when it comes to, let's say, if they had to go into long-term care, like what happens when you have to go on long-term care? It's something called a Medicaid spend down, where they spend down your assets. There's a lot of information that you learn from a Medicare checklist that I do with my clients. So when you're working, when you decide that either one, you want to retire or you want to come off of company insurance, then that provides you with a special election period. So let's say I'm 66 and I, still want to keep working, but I decide I want to come off of company insurance. Well, that becomes your special election period. So you can decide at any time you want to come off company insurance, then you can go on Medicare, and that becomes your initial enrollment period. And you can go on Medicare, and that is your one time that you get a gold pass to go on Medicare, and you have your choice of whether you want to go on a Medicare supplement or Medicare Advantage. Medicare supplement gives you the opportunity where you can go on a plan where you don't have to answer any health questions. If you have a pre-existing condition, you can go on a Medicare supplement that allows you to go on a plan to where you can see any doctor anywhere in the country. You pay a premium for that plan, but it's a great plan for people that have pre-existing conditions. You have that plan versus Medicare Advantage. And that's something that I can go into more detail, at another time, but that's the time that
we'll call you back.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll call you back.
Okay. But that is when you're 65 or when you have your initial enrollment is when you have the option to go on any type of plan that you want. That is the only time. Now, outside of your initial enrollment period, you would have to answer health questions to be able to have that option. But it's when you are, leaving your company plan and going on Medicare for the first time, that's when you have that option. But you don't have to wait until you retire to go on Medicare. But it's just the first time that you take Part B and decide to go on to Medicare, that's your initial enrollment period. You can do it at any time, but it's when you take Part B, that's when your initial enrollment period starts.
So Part B is more important after you retire, as opposed. Go ahead.
Part B is what really starts your Medicare journey.
So that's important to know. Now, in terms of the other parts, excluding Part B, when you are working and you have a plan from your company, is there no problem there? Like it doesn't intermingle or nothing like that? Doesn't affect your company's plan?
So when you are working, there's no need for you to continue to carry your company's plan, because Medicare, you can drop that because there's no need for you to pay 2 premiums because your Medicare is going to take care of everything. Now, if you decided to continue to keep your company plan, then your Medicare would be your primary and your company plan would be your secondary. So that means Medicare would pay first, and then whatever Medicare didn't cover, your company plan would pay second. But you would be paying, the 2 premiums. You could do that, but you would pay the 2 premiums.
Well, to do that, you must have a job that's paying you good money.
Right. Agreed.
A person on a fixed income cannot accommodate.
Right.
Such a cause.
And in some cases, people will do that if their spouse is not yet on Medicare. Okay. And they need to continue working or keep their plan to be able to carry their spouse. In those cases, I'll see them keep their plan just to be able to carry their spouse.
Wow. So, wow, I'm so glad you came on here. Because, you know, sometimes I'm a community leader, and I worked for a congressman for 10 years. I worked on a lot of federal programs. And I thought I knew a lot, but I'm very limited. Speaking with you has cleared up a lot of misconceptions for me. And if it cleared up for me, it cleared up for a lot of people. But I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart to coming on. I told my producer, Mr. Christian Cano, that you were an excellent person for the show.
Well, thank you.
And when it's time for the new change, I think it's in November, correct? October. Oh, beautiful. We'll start at the beginning. Would you come back on the show?
I would be happy to.
Thank you so much. It is a pleasure. Listen, you know I love you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you back at you.
You got to stick around because, you know, I'm getting a little older. I'm going to need everything that I can. When you're talking about a limited income, I'm there.
Well, for any of your listeners, like I said, I love helping, and anyone is more than welcome to reach out to me. You know, I'm local to Charlotte. I'm licensed in 6 states. Georgia, Virginia, Maryland, DC, South Carolina, North Carolina, not New York, but I'm expanding. So
expand. My mother is there. She needs it. She's going to be 95.
Okay. And you can reach me on Facebook, Johna Snell. And I'm also on LinkedIn, Johna Snell, and on Instagram, Jaja Snell. So you can reach me on. Yeah. So please feel free to reach out to me on any of those social medias.
Well, could you do us a favor and
Sure.
Your business card?
Yes.
Could you send it to my producer so that he could put it in the comments?
I sure
and
will.
That people would I'm going to make sure that you get bombarded.
Okay.
You know, and then I'm going to become your agent.
Okay. Yes, because my office is local here in Charlotte and Ballantyne. So I have a nice office in Ballantyne that you can visit as well. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Ms. Johna. I really appreciate you being on my show.
Absolutely.
I think we're going to get a lot of hits because you're on.
Well, thank you.
A lot of people needed to hear the information that you are sharing. You know, I know a lot of seniors, especially in Charlotte, and the way that things are going. We had Commissioner Mark Jarrell on last week, and he told us a lot of good things, but you know, things are getting tight, and I want to make sure that everybody has pertinent information is going to impact their lives. And like that, we can make more conscious decisions, because when you don't know, you just don't know.
That's right.
I want to thank you again. That's right. I want to thank you again for being on the show, Ms. Johna. It was a pleasure having you. And to my viewers, please come back again next Tuesday, and we'll have more information for you. God bless you. Thanks again to each and every one of you that took time out of your busy schedule to listen to the Tony Forman Show, where we bring you important guests, people that are going to bring you the information that's correct. And I'm going to continue to educate the people. This is Tony Forman, TFS, signing off. God bless you. Hey, everybody. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. Thank you for being a part of my world. And we'll see you next week for the show.